voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
Yes, have some.
Yes, have some.
The way Nation of Jake on the voice, FM 107.9 AM 990. Got a little distracted there. Welcome to it. Stream it live on YouTube. You can do that. Nation of Jake on YouTube. Also follow along on Facebook and the old Twitter at Nation of Jake on this Tuesday, July 9th, year of our Lord 2019. 90 degrees. Today's high is 92. Feels like 103. Plus, there's a heat advisory, so be advised, it's hot. As if you couldn't figure that out just walking outside today. It's going to be a hot one. That's what happens in July in Memphis. This really is typical for this time of year. No need to declare a climate emergency, but the heat advisory is fine. They got some cooling centers. I've been told by the fine people at the Circle K to stop encouraging you to go drop your pants in the beer cave. Listen, I'm not in charge of you, all right? All I can tell you is good ways to beat the heat. One of those is to march into the man cave, beer cave thing there at the Circle K and then drop your pants and then cop a squat on a big old case of Bud Ice or something like that. You can go into a store and stick merchandise in your pants. You just can't leave. So maybe just take a few cans of Four Loko or whatever they're selling in the freezer section and just kind of chill it out down there and then walk around a little bit. Do not leave the premises, and it's not shoplifting. I've been asked by the folks at the Circle K to stop encouraging you to do that. So, listen, use your best judgment. Some of those nice fellas at the Circle K don't mind at all. They know you're just trying to beat the heat in this heat advisory on July 9th. All right, so we've got some new polling standards for 2020, I'm told. 2020, just around the corner. I mean, really, we're over halfway through 2019, and the election season is heating up, with debates, with more and more polls coming out, Eric Swalwell dropping out of the race, and then Tom Steyer, who's a billionaire activist, is joining the race. So we're back up to 24 candidates. But now, one network has upped their standards for polling. They've upped their standards, so up yours. Really, what this translates into is that polling is complete trash. It's complete garbage, and we should not believe the polls. We'll get into that in just a little bit. Oh, hey, look. Noted creep Bill Clinton has issued a statement on the Jeffrey Epstein indictment. The former president, Bill Clinton, was closely tied to the aforementioned alleged sex trafficker, Jeffrey Epstein, and he has decided that he is going to put to rest any rumors about being on the Lolita Express. Now, it's come under scrutiny. There's some people who don't believe Bill Clinton and what he is saying about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. We'll get into that in just a few minutes. We got the latest on the feud between Shelby County Mayor Lee Harris and U of M President David Rudd. Lee Harris vetoed $1 million for a swimming facility at the U of M. David Rudd accused him of being unethical, of trying to force the University of Memphis to adjust their pay practices by using his power as Shelby County mayor. And it got a little ugly, but there seems to be a little bit of a resolution to that. And what about this whole living wage, $15 an hour? What does it really do? What are the actual consequences of artificially jacking up people's wages? We'll get into that as well. And all the latest local and national headlines in the news cruise. First, I just want to point out that we are fewer than 90 days away from the Battle Mayoral on October 3rd. I used to call it Rocktober 3rd. I don't call it Rocktober 3rd anymore. On Talktober 3rd, there will be a mayoral election here in the city of Memphis. The incumbent, Mayor Jim Strickland.
Mayor! Mr. Strickland!
He told the Daily Memphian he's got $1 million. I'm not saying he's got $1 million. I'm telling you that Jim Strickland is going around telling everybody he's got $1 million. And that amounts to bragging, if you ask me. That kind of stuff, that's your business, how much money you got. But this is all public knowledge because it's $1 million in campaign funds. Check it out. Memphis Mayor Jim Strickland's campaign war chest stands at more than $1 million in a second quarter campaign finance report to be filed with the Shelby County Election Commission by Wednesday. The total raised since the last election has been a little over $1 million. So you're looking at 4 years or thereabouts, he's been able to raise $1 million. He went on, says, I'm very pleased with the broad cross-section of people all across this city. It's a huge number of people to give. A total of more than $1 million raised in Strickland's bid for a second term as mayor would mean his campaign could have raised $243,000 from April 1st to the end of June. That would be second quarter 2019, depending on what the campaign spent from April through June. He raised $68,000 in the first quarter of 2019, according to his campaign finance report filed in April. So, with those two numbers, that's $300,000 in the first half of this year with fewer than 90 days to go until the battle mayoral. Strickland says he intends to spend all or most of the $1 million between now and the October 3rd Election Day contest that includes Shelby County Commissioner Tammy Sawyer and former Memphis Mayor Willie Harrington as challengers. So it's like Brewster's Millions right now. He's got $1 million with fewer than 90 days to spend it. I've got a great idea for you, Mayor Jim Strickland, on how you can spend that $1 million, not all in one place either. Strickland's fundraising totals reflect the incumbent's advantage in the mayor's race. Of course it does. He's the incumbent. He's the mayor. He's always glad-handing people. He's always in the news. He is in the forefront and has been for 4 years. So he's going to have a fundraising advantage and also just an advantage of having been in the office. That's just the incumbent's advantage, right? The dollar figure is expected to dwarf those to be posted by Sawyer and Harrington, the challengers. Strickland's been a door-to-door guy. He's been able to take his time, whereas Harrington and Tammy Sawyer, they've had to get into a mad dash to start fundraising. Hell, Tammy Sawyer, she said that she has raised $64,000 and change in the second quarter, bringing her 6-month total to $89,997. So $90,000. All right, that's a pretty big disparity. The first half of 2019, Jim Strickland comes away with $300,000, over $300,000, and Tammy Sawyer is at $90,000. Now, this doesn't mean that Jim Strickland is going to win going away. All right? Right now, you're looking at, you're going to split up some votes, and then you're going to have Jim Strickland, who's got that big war chest. He's definitely at an advantage at this point. It all depends on what you want your mayor to be responsible for.
Mayor!
Crime is still a big problem in Memphis. But everything else, Jim Strickland has managed pretty well. He's very workmanlike. He just goes to it. He's not flashy. He's not a rhetorical genius. He's not some great orator. He doesn't get you fired up too much. And that's kind of my style, a politician. Going, hey, we're just going to work. We're getting stuff done. And I'll send out a letter and let you know everything we're getting done. And if you want to come at me about paving the road or about development, whatever it is, I will have a conversation with you about it. But he's not running around. He's not a screamer and a yeller and a grandstander. And I like that about him. And honestly, I just don't think that a mayor can do too much about the crime rate in a city. And, he can obviously take the suggestions of his police officers, Director Rawlings, and those fine folks. He can work with the county on law enforcement. But as far as, what can the mayor do as far as fighting crime? Outside of putting on a rubber suit and going out and fighting crime himself as a mayor vigilante, which I would love to see, but I don't want to see Jim Strickland in a tight suit. No offense, Big Jim.
Mr. Strickland.
All right, so he's raised a bunch of money. All right, so I've got an idea of what he can do with it. He can run some ads on this program. That would be fantastic. I mean, you know how many people listen to the Nation of Jake, not just on KWAM The Voice, but on YouTube and on the podcast? It's like 12, 15 folks. I'm not asking for the full million here, but you're the one going out saying, "Oh, I've got $1 million. I'm gonna go door to door, but I've also got to do some TV and radio and the internet, indirect mail." Hey, dude, I'm right here. I'm on the radio and the internet. 2 birds, 1 stone. Jim Strickland with the big old war chest. You know what? That's not a bad solution for Tammy Sawyer either. Tammy, bring it on. You guys need to get your messages heard by the citizens of the Nation of Jake, many of which have dual residency in the city of Memphis. So I would encourage you to get in contact with us over here in the Nation of Jake for some creative ideas of how you can spend that $1 million. I don't see Tammy Sawyer or Willie Harrington beating Jim Strickland.
Mr. Strickland. Mayor.
In this upcoming battle mayoral, just for a few reasons. Tammy Sawyer is light on experience. She's been county commissioner for all of 7 months. She may have a bright future in politics. Willie Harrington, been there, done that. Been there, done that. I mean, we've seen what you've done as far as your mayoral reign of King Willie. 17 years. Like, that's going backwards. And I'm not sure that we want to go backwards here in Memphis. I mean, honestly, Memphis kind of oversaw the decline of Memphis, didn't you? Willie Harrington, the population loss. I mean, in the early 90s, look, this was before the Olympics in Atlanta, before Atlanta blew up. There were 3 major cities in the South that could have been the hub. It was Atlanta, Birmingham, and Memphis. Seems as though Atlanta made all the right moves because the place is a metropolis. It is blown up. That doesn't come without problems. But Memphis kind of got left behind in that whole deal. And that was all the talk. And that was 80s into the 90s. And as far as I remember, Willie Harrington in 1990 was elected mayor. And then from then on, it kind of hemorrhaged people and taxpayers, and crime exploded, and there was a lot of controversy. So who would want to go back to that? So you got somebody who's light on experience, somebody who's a little too experienced, and you got Jim Strickland who's just kind of in the middle. He's a strong, silent type, speak softly, carry a big stick kind of deal. So I'm looking at all the factors, and the $1 million war chest is a pretty big factor. Of course, it doesn't translate directly into votes, but that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money to flood the market within these fewer than 90 days with his message of Memphis has momentum. He can tout all the development that is going on here, all the positives that are happening. And honestly, the one big black mark on the city of Memphis right now is crime and poverty. And I'm just not sure what a mayor can do about that in 4 years other than take steps to improve it. And I would have to look at the numbers to see if it's improved under Jim Strickland. I know things haven't really gotten much worse around here, like in the macro. So consider this kind of my pitch, not to go vote for Jim Strickland, but for Jim Strickland to buy some ads in the Nation of Jake. I'm not even sure if that's how it goes. I'd probably just contact somebody over at his office. $1 million, though. I just need a few dollars, man. I don't need 1 million of them. All right, coming up, we've got an open letter from the janitors over at the U of M. They want $15 an hour. But coming up next, let's talk about Bill Clinton felt the need to respond to the allegations that Jeffrey Epstein is a child sex trafficker. Why would he even do this if he barely knows the guy, right? We'll talk about that next right here in the Nation of Jake.
The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
Whatever you may be interested in, chances are you can find some valuable information in the July edition of The Best Times, now available on your local newsstand. Don't miss articles about elder abuse, the dangers of using marijuana, the value of lifelong learning, the myth of taking vitamin D to reduce development of type 2 diabetes, which CDs are best for you, legal documents that everyone should have to protect their assets, and so much more. The Best Times is available at all Kroger and CVS pharmacies. Get your copy today.
When's the last time you looked at the windows in your house? Not through the windows, but at the windows. Really looked at them. There's dirt, streaks, buildup, smudges, fingerprints, paw prints, spider webs, dead bugs, those little white speckles. I have no idea what they are, and who knows what else. Now, cleaning all the windows in your house makes a big difference, but it's also a big job. That's why you need Just Windows Home Services. Just Windows has been taking the pain out of window cleaning since 1992. Just Windows cleans all types of windows, storm windows, screens, skylights, interior, exterior, upstairs and down. Now, I know I told you the company is called Just Windows Home Services, but they do a lot more. Roof and gutter cleaning, pressure washing, mirrors, blinds, ceiling fans, light fixtures, chandeliers. Look, if you've got hard to reach areas of the house, then you need Just Windows Home Services. Call for a free estimate, 751-3934. That's 751-3934, or get them online at justwindowsmemphis.com. That's justwindowsmemphis.com.
If you're in need of a professional cleaning service that takes your business as seriously as you do, call Jan Pro Cleaning Systems today. They understand how important it is to establish and maintain a professional image. That's why they offer the Jan Pro Signature Clean and the Jan Pro Guarantee. From regular scheduled cleaning to the tough stuff like stripping and waxing, buffing, carpet extractions, and detail cleaning, Jan Pro does it all. Call today for a free, no-obligation quote. 901-683-4900. Insured and bonded for your protection. Jan Pro Cleaning Systems. Measurable cleaning, guaranteed results.
If you're thinking about buying or selling a home, stop. Don't do anything until you talk to my man, James Underwood. James Underwood has been helping people like you navigate the Mid-South real estate market for more than a decade. So whether you're looking to buy your first home or you want to upgrade to your forever home, James Underwood can help make it happen. No gimmicks, no guarantees, just a rock-solid guy that I've known for 25 years. So now, if you're looking to buy or sell a home, hit up James Underwood with CryLike. JamesUnderwood.crylike.com. That's JamesUnderwood.crylike.com.
Planning for retirement can be confusing and overwhelming. Tune in to the Servant Retirement Show to hear the current news and events today's retirees need to know. Every Saturday morning at 8 on KWAM, The Voice, AM 990. If you want to talk to Dan Groban or Philip Menard today about your retirement plans, call the team at Servant Advisors Group, 855-260-1000. That's 855-260-1000. Get started on the path toward a comfortable retirement today. 855-260-1000.
Start your day with America in the Morning, your daily radio news magazine. I'm John Trout, and weekday mornings we'll bring you the top stories and latest breaking news from our correspondents around the country. You'll get sports highlights, a business update, the nation's weather, the Hollywood Minute, and much more. So join us right here for America in the Morning.
Weekdays on your local voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
All right, welcome back to it.
Yes, have some.
The Nation of Jake is on The Voice, FM 107.9, AM 990, online, KWAMTheVoice.com, streaming live on the YouTube channel, Nation of Jake. All right, over the weekend, yesterday's top news, Jeffrey Epstein, hedge fund manager, political financier. This guy is a bad guy. He has been accused of some awful crimes, child sex trafficking, girls as young as 14 years old kind of being passed around, recruited in this network of prostitution and child molestation. Awful stuff. You know, we're talking about a guy who had a lot of help from a lot of wealthy people, a lot of people complicit in what Jeffrey Epstein has been indicted for. And now this guy, there was a plea deal in 2008 where this guy pled to some prostitution charges, even though it was known then that some of the victims were underage. So, bad guy, right? We can all agree that the things he is being accused of and that he's pled guilty to in the past are generally awful, despicable, gross, all of the above. Well, one of the wrinkles in this whole story is that Jeffrey Epstein has been tied very closely to former President Bill Clinton. All right? Bill Clinton, what do we know about Bill Clinton? I mean, what's just the brand of Bill Clinton? Here's what we know about Bill Clinton. These are just some, free association, just some words that I'm going to throw out, some names and some words, and then tell me what you think about it with regards to Bill Clinton. Like when I throw out the word liar, when I throw out the word something like serial sexual assaulter, hashtag me too, and then when you think about Bill Clinton, you're like, oh yeah, that all kind of fits. How about this? Juanita Broderick, Paula Jones, Leslie Milwee, is that her name? Yeah, there's another one. Kathleen Willey, Jennifer Flowers, Monica Lewinsky, all women who have accused Bill Clinton of sexual assault and or misconduct or an extramarital affair. You come up with a brand for Bill Clinton, and that brand is creep. Okay? Bill Clinton's a creep. He's always been a creep. Everybody's been like, oh, yeah, they overlooked all that stuff for a long time because, hey, he's Bill Clinton, Democrat president, cool guy, played the old saxophone on the late night show with Wolf guy, Arsenio Hall. A cool guy, old Bill Clinton. So, yeah, all that stuff with Juanita Broderick and the rape and Paula Jones and the sexual harassment. No, that couldn't have happened. Bill Clinton's too cool. Oh, yeah, abusing his power as president to have some sort of relationship with a 19-year-old intern, Monica Lewinsky. No problems then. Now, it's a big problem. All right, so when all this stuff comes out about Jeffrey Epstein, Bill Clinton's name starts getting tossed around. And so the Clintons have to issue a statement. And the statement is as follows. Bill Clinton knows nothing about the terrible crimes linked to Jeffrey Epstein, according to the president's spokesman. An indictment alleging sex trafficking and sex trafficking conspiracy was unsealed Monday morning against Epstein. Prosecutors allege that Epstein, the 66-year-old wealthy hedge fund manager, preyed on dozens of victims as young as 14. Now, the statement from Clinton's spokesperson reads as follows. In 2002 and 2003, President Clinton took a total of 4 trips on Jeffrey Epstein's airplane, 1 to Europe, 1 to Asia, and 2 to Africa, which included stops in connection with the work of the Clinton Foundation. Staff, supporters of the foundation, and his Secret Service detail traveled on every leg of every trip. He had 1 meeting with Epstein in his Harlem office in 2002, and around the same time, made 1 brief visit to Epstein's New York apartment with a staff member and a security detail. He's not spoken to Epstein in well over a decade, and he has never been to Little St. James Island, Epstein's ranch in New Mexico, or his residence in Florida. So, coming clean is Bill Clinton saying, yeah, I knew the guy. We went out sometimes to Africa and Mexico just to do business, just to do some things at the Clinton Foundation, but I never went to the Lolita Express. I never ditched my security detail to go to some sexy orgy on the island. Listen, I wanted to, but I never did. So you've got Bill Clinton outright denying any wrongdoing, had no idea that this guy, Jeffrey Epstein, who gave millions of dollars to the foundation that was run by Bill Clinton, and that he's been on the plane before, Lolita Express. We didn't call it that. Other people called it that. So we've got this denial coming out from Bill Clinton, but then you've also got investigative journalists saying, nah, that's not true. None of that is true. No, they're saying that he rode on that plane with Jeffrey Epstein, not just 4 times, 26 times. How does one story have it as, I just rode there 4 times. I never went any place like this island that I've been hearing about. I wish I got invited, but I never got invited. Now, how is it that one account has him riding only 4 times, and then this other one has him riding 26 times on the old Lolita Express. Investigative journalist Conchita Sarnoff said today that former President Bill Clinton isn't telling the truth when he says he knows nothing of the alleged crimes of Jeffrey Epstein. Bill Clinton not telling the truth. That also falls under the Bill Clinton brand. That depends on what the definition of is. So when he says he took a total of 4 trips on Jeffrey Epstein's airplane in 2002 and 2003, Sarnoff says the figure's not accurate, claiming that Clinton was a guest on Epstein's planes many more times over a longer period of time. I know from the pilot logs, and these are pilot logs that you know were written by different pilots at different times that Clinton went, he was a guest of Epstein's 27 times. 27. She added that many of those times Clinton had his Secret Service with him, and many times he did not. Almost every time that Clinton's name is on the pilot logs, there are underage girls there. There are initials and names of many, many girls on that private plane. That's according to Conchita Sarnoff. Sarnoff went on to say that she believes Clinton is not telling the truth about his ties to Epstein. So, all this is going to shake out because from what I understand, the FBI has seized a lot of evidence in Epstein's mansion. And that's going to tell the tale. Because this guy, Epstein, wealthy hedge fund manager, he's covering his tracks. I mean, when he gives millions of dollars to people like the Clintons, he's not just doing it because he wants to make the country better and he believes in their vision and he agrees with them politically. There's a implied quid pro quo there, isn't there? There always is. Is okay, Clintons, you're in a position of power. I helped you get there. I'll help keep you there, but I expect to get something in return. What is that? Oh, maybe it's a get out of jail free card. Maybe it's some preferential treatment by prosecutors. Say when I'm being charged with underage sex trafficking, maybe get that pled down to just some prostitution, spend 13 months in jail instead of life in prison, and I still get to hang on to all my hedge funds. By the way, I have no idea what a hedge fund is. The hedge fund, to me, to a guy like me, just a regular guy, a hedge fund is what I pay a landscaper to come over and take care of stuff. That's a hedge fund. So this guy was able to weather the storm of being charged with awful crimes back in 2008, but because of his position and his connection to very powerful people, he was able to get out of it. Now, he's not only connected to Bill Clinton. However, this kind of falls in line with the caricature of Bill Clinton, and the reason that those caricatures exist is because Bill Clinton's a creep, because he's been accused multiple times of sexual harassment, sexual misconduct, sexual assault, all the way up to rape, extramarital affairs. This is on brand for Bill Clinton, and it's only now that Democrats and the Democrat establishment are willing to, quote unquote, launch him into the sun. Because they're done with the Clintons. They're done. Hillary is spent. Bill is spent. They launch an arena tour and nobody goes. So they're done with them. So they don't need them anymore. So yeah, just the hell with the Clintons. No more protection for them, right? Which I think is good, and that's the way it should work for everybody. Donald Trump has also been linked to Jeffrey Epstein. Not to the degree that Bill Clinton has. Now, they say that Donald Trump may have ridden on Jeffrey Epstein's plane once or twice. But Bill Clinton, he did 27 times. 27 times. The Lolita Express. Think about it. This airplane had a nickname. The Lolita Express. This was an open secret. People knew this is what he was doing. And there were people who were even more complicit than, say, Bill Clinton. There are people who were helping him do it. Women who were helping him do it. Photos of 14, 15-year-old girls with people like Prince Andrew. And it was all arranged by this Jeffrey Epstein guy. This goes deep. And there's going to be a lot of people who are outed as total creeps at best, if not outright criminals. So you're just kind of seeing, Bill Clinton, methinks thou doth protest too much. Yeah, just 4 times on that plane. Then how can other people put you on it 27 times? What we're going to see, this is all going to come out. Like, I'm just saying it's inconsistent. It's consistent with Bill Clinton's brand, but saying, just 4 times. It was all Clinton Foundation stuff. It was all on the up and up. Sure. I don't believe you. And I don't even believe Donald Trump. And Donald Trump's saying, listen, he said some things about, I don't know, I had a video of Donald Trump saying, look, he got kicked out of my Mar-a-Lago resort because he sexually harassed an underage worker or an underage girl at the resort. And so according to court documents, Donald Trump, maybe once he found out what Jeffrey Epstein was all about, was like, no, get out of here. You're done. We're done. I mean, it's no surprise that a rich, wealthy hedge fund manager would try to get in good with Donald Trump or the other way around. This is a guy with deep pockets, finances a lot of stuff. And we're going to find out more and more about Jeffrey Epstein and the people who helped him do it and the people who did it with him. So we'll find. But yeah, I don't. You can't believe a thing that the Clintons say. You can't at this point. They're branded liars and creeps. So listen, you're known by the company you keep. Guilt by association, fair or not, and that's the reality of the situation. All right, so we've got this dust-up between County Mayor Lee Harris and President of U of M David Rudd over $1 million for a swimming facility, only if you do what we say, says Mayor Lee Harris. And now it's come down to this $15 an hour fight with the janitors at the U of M. I'll explain it all next right here in the Nation of Jake.
The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
CBS News Update. President Trump is defending Labor Secretary Alex Acosta, who as a federal prosecutor worked out a secret plea deal for billionaire Jeffrey Epstein in a sex crime case involving young girls.
If you go back and look at everybody else's decisions, whether it's a U.S. attorney or an assistant U.S. attorney or a judge, you go back 12 or 15 years ago or 20 years ago and look at their past decisions, I would think you'd probably find that they would wish they maybe did it a different way.
The president said Acosta's done a fantastic job and has been an excellent labor secretary. CBS's Paula Reed says the victims were not notified about the Epstein deal.
A federal judge has already found the way this was handled to be illegal. The Justice Department's Office of Professional Responsibility is also reviewing this case. But here it appears that President Trump believes, based on Acosta's performance in his administration, he will stand by him.
CBS News Update, I'm Pam Coulter.
Is it a good time to buy or refi? Is it a buyer's market or a seller's market? Are interest rates going sky high soon? Hi, I'm Ludi Calloway, the mortgage lady at iBank Mortgage. I tell my customers to ask questions, get answers. So join me every Monday morning at 8 and I will tell you what's going on in today's still changing mortgage world. Remember, most people think about mortgages a few times in their lives. I think about them every single day. Tune in Mondays at 8.
The special event florist for the Mid-South is Lynn Doyle Flowers. They are famous for creating incredible floral arrangements and are available to fill even your last-minute needs. From the simple to the magnificent, their staff can create unique arrangements for your special occasion. Flowers always bring a smile, make someone's day, and for fast, convenient delivery, call Lynn Doyle Flowers today at 901-323-4521 or visit their beautiful new location at 6225 Old Poplar Pike.
This is Clark Howard. It's summertime, and it's the likeliest time that you may travel away from the United States. So I got a couple of questions for you. Not just about, well, you send me a picture of where you are smiling, but how are you protected when you're overseas? Do you know a lot of times your health insurance doesn't cover you once you leave the United States? The time to find that out, actually, is before you go. Check with your own health insurer and see if you are covered outside the United States. If you're going to do something like rent a car, you need to know from your own automobile insurer if you're covered outside the United States in a rental car. And you know what else? If you're going third world, going to a more obscure place, you may want to consider some kind of policy that will cover evacuating if somebody got hurt or sick and you needed a flight out.
The backyard's looking great, Rob. Thanks, man. I was planning on adding a deck, too. Know any good contractors? Why don't you just ask Home Advisor?
Home what?
HomeAdvisor.com. You just tell them about your project and they match you with local pros that can do the job.
Nice. Now, how much does it cost?
Oh, Home Advisor's totally free to use. Plus, you can read customer reviews, check pricing, and book appointments for free.
What's the website again?
HomeAdvisor.com. Or just download the free Home Advisor app.
Home Advisor. Have you heard what President Trump said recently?
Newsmax, you like Newsmax. I like it too.
Now you can watch Newsmax TV and get the truth about Trump from Bill O'Reilly, Mike Reagan, Alan Dershowitz, Pat Buchanan, and more. Newsmax TV is America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in 70 million homes. Find Newsmax on DirecTV, Dish, Xfinity, Spectrum, Optimum, Fios, Uverse, and more systems. See Newsmax TV today. It's real news for real people.
All right, welcome back to it.
Yes, have some.
The Nation of Jake is on The Voice, FM 107.9, AM 990. You can also stream live on YouTube. Just go to YouTube, look up Nation of Jake, subscribe to the channel, tell your friends all about it. I'll have the 2-minute show up. You can get caught up on yesterday's 2-minute show. You can do that on the Facebook page. I've got a link there or right there on the YouTube channel. You can also get after me on Twitter at Nation of Jake. Yesterday, I told you this story about County Mayor Lee Harris vetoing $1 million to go towards a swimming facility at the U of M. This is a swimming facility that Mike Rose wanted built in order to be a hub of water safety for kids. It would be a place that anybody could learn to swim, could go and swim, but really about water safety. There was a great write-up in the Daily Memphian about this was kind of one of the last projects before Mike Rose passed away. So this was something that Mayor Lee Harris was going to use as a political football. He was going to withhold the funds for the swimming facility on the condition that President of the University of Memphis, David Rudd, changed their practices as far as employment and employee pay. Really what he said was, look, if you guys raise your wages over there to a quote-unquote living wage, then I'll let the $1 million go. So it was a little quid pro quo there. A little bit shady, I think, a move by the mayor of Shelby County to do that. That said, U of M looks like they're on board with the pay increases. They're actually going to accelerate their plan to get to $15 an hour within 2 years, according to President David Rudd of the UM. So on the heels of that story, that little dust-up, a little ugly scene publicly between two prominent figures here in the Mid-South, we have now an open letter from the custodians of the University of Memphis. All right? This is from the current and retired custodians at the U of M. We University of Memphis custodians deserve to be paid a living wage. Now, there's a very, very, nebulous amount we're talking about. Because in Shelby County, I read yesterday that the living wage is $11.07 for a single person, which, as an employer, you employ single people. And you don't employ families usually. You don't employ people and pay them based on how many mouths they have to feed. This is one person provides a service to you and you pay them. So if it's $11.07 and right now most of the workers are making $11.11, they're already being paid a living wage, but there's something magic about this $15 an hour number. Everybody thinks that's the living wage. And who's to say what a living wage is? Like I can go on all day about this. It's a artificial number. Many different people live differently. They live differently. They work differently. It all comes down to what is your value in the market. But I digress. Let's move on with the open letter from the custodians. This is an open letter to anyone who will listen. Well, this is an open letter to anyone who will read it. That's how that should go. Never mind. We are custodians at the University of Memphis. Some of us have been working here for only 4 years, and some of us as many as 21 years. And we want to say It's past time for $15 an hour on campus. Today, as we work our shifts at the university, we are comforted. They're comforted by the news that Shelby County Mayor Lee Harris responded to calls to support our fight for a living wage. We are relieved that someone cares about our families when our employer does not show the same concern. It's demoralizing to watch our years of service be rewarded with 50-cent raises and employee appreciation parties, while many of us clock into second jobs every day just to make ends meet. Morale is low here, and our coworkers are leaving the university for jobs that pay better. All right, well, you've really just answered your own question right there. Morale is low here, and our coworkers are leaving the university for jobs that pay better. Why aren't you? Why aren't you leaving the job for a job that pays better? They're clearly out there. The job market is really good. Ron Hart was on last week and said if you have a job, right now is the time to ask for a raise. And I guess that's what they're doing, but they're doing it in the paper and kind of trashing their employer, saying that, our employer doesn't care about us. The average worker making less than $15 an hour at the U of M is a black woman, including all of us. Many say this place is like a plantation. Many say this place is like a plantation. So that is a not so veiled reference to slavery. You're free to go at any time, just like your coworkers who are leaving. That's the main difference between the U of M in year of our Lord 2019 and, say, a plantation where you would be enslaved. I'm not so sure that's the route you want to go. Administration salaries are so large compared to ours. At the current rate of raises, what we've been getting, it would take 9 years for us to see $15 an hour, while your position can see a $175,000 bonus in 1 year. Your position, whose position? I mean, I'm just anybody who will listen. I don't make a $175,000 bonus in a year. Something is deeply wrong with this picture. Why? Because you say so? Because you say so. Here's how it's going to go down. You guys demand $15 an hour, and the University of Memphis will be balancing their books and say, you know what? We don't need all these custodians. We need half as many custodians. That's what we're going to do. We're going to give the custodians that we like the most, who have seniority or do the best job, we're going to give them $15 an hour, and the other custodians are going to go find another job somewhere else. It is proven that when you raise minimum wages, you kill jobs. It's real good for the people who get the raises, but not good overall. I just read this. A study, it says raising minimum wage to $15 an hour in the United States would kill 1.3 million jobs. It's not hard. It is not hard. And if morale is so low and things are so bad and your job sucks so much and you don't make enough money, then why can't you be like your coworkers who have had enough and they've gotten other jobs? And I don't mean to make this sound elitist. You say that you're a custodian. Oh, I know that we clean toilets and we mop floors and we take out trash, but we deserve dignity. Well, yes, you take pride in your work. Listen, there's nothing wrong with cleaning toilets. There's nothing wrong with being a custodian. It's honest, it's good work, but there's a value placed on it. The University of Memphis could contract it out to a company that could come by a couple of times a day and take out the trash and mop the floors. And these people at this company say they go all over and they do it at a lower rate. And then you have no job. And you're done. You don't get to work there anymore. So it's priced about right. If you're making $11 an hour and you're going and you're doing things that, yes, I mean, listen, it's not beneath me. I would do it if I had to. But what I'm saying is the barrier to entry for a job like that is very low. I mean, anybody can mop floors. Anybody, literally anyone, can take out trash. Anybody willing can clean toilets. It's not a high skill position. That's why it's priced where it is, at about $11 on its way up. to $15 an hour now that David Rudd kind of caved to Mayor Lee Harris's ultimatum that they raise wages at University of Memphis. So look, it's easy to get caught up in the emotion of it all. You know, people saying we've worked here forever and we do the jobs that nobody else wants to do and that we deserve dignity and respect and we're part of this family. Why don't you care about us as much as you care about swimming pools? Well, that's just not a good faith argument. Just go look up most places what a custodian is going to make. A comparable job out there, and I would venture to guess, and I don't have any numbers in front of me, I would venture to guess that $11.11 is a pretty good rate. I know of warehouse jobs where you have to lift boxes and sweat in a hot warehouse, and you don't make $11.11 an hour. There are people working for about $10 an hour doing real hard work, way harder than mopping and taking out trash and cleaning toilets. So, I mean, I don't know who made the decision to print this, but this is largely garbage. And I don't need a custodian to help me throw it away. I'm going to crumple it up. I'm going to throw it away. It's because it's not a good argument. It's not a good place to come from. I don't appreciate the plantation slave owner kind of comparison. And then there's also, you're in control. You know, you see, oh, morale is low, this place is terrible. Instead of standing around demanding that somebody pay you an artificially high wage, go find somebody else who will appreciate you. Go find a place where morale is not low, because I'm willing to bet that it's not as bad as you say. There's a reason that you stayed there for 21 years. It's because you like the job, you like being there, you like the people, they treat you right. But now there's this fever, this magic $15 an hour. It's not going to make you happy. It won't make you happy. It'll be, the next thing will be, oh, now we need $20 an hour. Oh, now we need $25 an hour. The extra $4 an hour, I'm sure it would help. It would be nice. But it's not going to make the job better. Either you like the job or you don't like the job. Take a cue from those people working with you who have decided to leave and go find a different job. Do that. That you'd be way better off doing that than doing what you did there in the old CA, comparing it to slavery. That's insulting, is what that is, to the legacy of the people who actually did get enslaved. You can leave at any time. You've got the freedom to do it and the power to do it. I believe in you. All right, coming up. Oh, man, you catch up on Stranger Things yet on the old Netflix? I did. I'm caught up, I think. But there was something that I noticed about it, and now Netflix is going to change as a result. And we're going to talk about that next right here in the Nation of Jake.
The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
Hey everybody, Michelle Calhoun here. I am the host of a new show called The Power of Her Story, where I'll be interviewing female business owners all over the Memphis area every Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. I believe that when we share women's stories, it empowers more women to write their own. Follow me on Instagram at The Power of Her Story.
The Power of Her Story is brought to you in part by these great sponsors: Brown Properties, 901 eLearn, and its Patreon community.
Love everything about cars? Then check out my show, Auto Talk Live. I'll talk about everything automotive, from new cars to cool tech and car buying tips. Your escape from politics, reality shows, and everyday life. It's educational and entertaining. So join me, JP Palooga, every Friday from 8 to 9 a.m. for Auto Talk Live. Live on KWAM The Voice, FM 107.9, AM 990.
Did you know that your potential customers look at your website and determine your credibility within 8 seconds? Make sure your business reflects the quality service you provide. Contact Control Alt Design for a free quote today. Today's marketplace is very competitive and you need a professional web presence. Control Alt Design offers web design at a fraction of what the larger firms charge. Control Alt Design has been helping local businesses stand out on the web for over 20 years. They also offer logo design, business card design, flyers, brochures, and more. See their work today at ControlAltDesign.com.
Miracle Method of Memphis North reminds us that we all benefit from a strong military. Sending a soldier a care package can make their time away from home more pleasant. Call your local veterans organization for more information. This message is from Miracle Method of Memphis North, your solution for all your residential and commercial bathtub, countertop, and tile refinishing needs, offering non-acid bathroom tub refinishing. Call 901-791-2629. Paris, Calvin, and the staff salute those who make our country stronger.
All right, welcome back to it.
Yes, have some.
The Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9, AM 990, online, KWAMTheVoice.com, streaming live on YouTube, Nation of Jake, the channel on YouTube. All right, so I was watching Stranger Things Season 3 last night. If you've not seen Stranger Things, I recommend it. The whole thing is an homage to all the great science fiction and horror movies of the 70s and 80s. All right, a lot of references to a lot of movies, a lot of the imagery, very Goonies, Jaws, Poltergeist, The Gate, Dawn of the Dead, all that kind of stuff, especially here in Season 3 of Stranger Things. I mean, everybody knows this show, and if you don't, then you're kind of missing out because it's quality programming, all right? Especially if you love the nostalgia of the 80s, which I do. One thing that I've noticed a lot about 80s movies and TV shows and things like that is that a long time ago, there was no big deal for characters to smoke. And whether it was kids smoking, remember Stand By Me? Remember the movie The Monster Squad? All these movies, kids would smoke. Ghostbusters, Ray from the Ghostbusters smoked. I think they all smoked. Everybody smoked. All right, so in Stranger Things, the characters smoke. All right, Jim Hopper, the chief of police there in Hawkins, Indiana, where Stranger Things takes place, he chain smokes. He's always smoking a cigarette. Well, there's been some backlash. There's a new smoking policy now with Netflix programming. Check it out. Last March, following the release of Stranger Things Season 2, a report determined that Netflix had a whopping 319 smoking incidents in its original shows during the 2015-2016 season. Of 319 incidents, Stranger Things topped the list with 182 total incidents during Season 1. All right, so Netflix, Stranger Things, everybody's smoking all the time. It takes place in this anytown USA called Hawkins, Indiana, in the mid-'80s. 1984-85. If you were growing up then, you know that people smoked. They smoked all the time. You know, it's relatively recently the anti-smoking campaigns and whatnot. So now, Netflix has revealed plans to ban smoking from all original content rated TV-14 or PG-13 moving forward. So if it is going to be viewed by young people, they can't have characters who smoke, except for reasons of historical or factual accuracy, which I guess you could say that Stranger Things, that is under that umbrella. But, man, they say, yeah, kids more likely to smoke if somebody on TV smokes. That's why they banned all the TV ads, Marlboro Man, and that kind of stuff. You can't have Joe Camel. But how do you square this with, say, gun violence or violence of any kind? You know, kids watching TV shows, even like superhero TV shows, people beating each other up, people with guns. I mean, if life imitates art with smoking, then why do we still let our kids watch, violent shows and stuff? Doesn't one follow the other? All right. More on polling coming up.
CBS News at the top of every hour and the most local talk in the Mid-South. This is KWAM Memphis.
This is CBS News on the Hour. Real news, real reporting.
I'm Pam Coulter. President Trump is distancing himself from sex crimes defendant Jeffrey Epstein while praising his labor secretary who was involved with the secret plea deal with Epstein a decade ago. CBS's Stephen Portnoy reports.
The president says he feels badly for Alex Acosta.
For 2.5 years, he's been just an excellent Secretary of Labor.
Mr. Trump shrugs off concerns that as a U.S. attorney, Acosta signed off on a plea agreement that saw Jeffrey Epstein serving no time in federal prison.
I do hear that there were a lot of people involved in that decision, not just him.
Asked what he thinks of his old friend Epstein, whom he once called a terrific guy, the president says they had a falling out.
I don't think I've spoken to him for 15 years. I wasn't a fan.
Stephen Portnoy, CBS News, the White House.
Texas billionaire and two-time independent presidential candidate H. Ross Perot has died after a battle with leukemia.
I have lived the American dream. I came from a very modest background. Nobody's been luckier than I've been.
Perot, who was 89, received 19% of the vote in 1992. The University of Virginia's Larry Sabato explains Perot's appeal to voters.
There were an awful lot of people back then, as there are today, who say they want politicians to speak directly to them and forthrightly to them and tell them the way it is, but they also want, as I suggested, simplistic solutions to complicated problems. Perot gave them that.
After embarrassing leaked cables calling President Trump inept, British Ambassador Kim Derrick was uninvited to a dinner with the president. CBS's Ben Tracy has more on the diplomatic rift between the U.S. and U.K.
The U.K. says its ambassadors are supposed to be candid, that they're supposed to send their thoughts back to British officials, but the content of these leaked memos is painfully blunt. In one of them, Ambassador Kim Derrick writes, "We don't really believe Trump's administration is going to become substantially more normal, less dysfunctional, less diplomatically clumsy and inept." In another, he says President Trump radiates insecurity.
An investigation is underway into the death of an Indiana toddler who fell from a Royal Caribbean cruise ship in Puerto Rico. Family attorney Michael Winkleman says the grandfather had held the child up to a glass pane that should have been securely closed.
Why would you ever, in a kid's play area, put windows that passengers can open? I mean, we've all had that experience where someone walks into a glass sliding door thinking it's not there. This is the inverse of that. And it was reasonable for Sam, the grandfather, to think that this was all glass.
On Wall Street, the Dow is down 60 points, NASDAQ up 35. This is CBS News.
She's brought us the world. Now, she brings us truth and understanding right when we need it most. The CBS Evening News with Nora O'Donnell, July 15th.
Are you more than $10,000 in debt? Feel like you're on a never-ending treadmill, staying in one place and never getting ahead with those minimum payments? You feel like there's no way out? Don't let the credit card companies bully you anymore. There are programs in place to help you get free of your debt, and you don't have to pay the entire amount you owe. The program at Total Financial Freedom can help you get debt-free in months instead of decades. Get off the debt treadmill and stop the harassment. Get free of credit card debt, signature loans, department store cards, internet loans, and medical bills. Call now at 800-899-8922 for free information. For about 10 years, Total Financial Freedom has helped thousands. They're A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, too. Get off the endless cycle without having to declare bankruptcy. You'll have the right to settle your debt for a mere fraction of what you owe. Call Total Financial now at 800-899-8922. That's 800-899-8922.
Recall for a popular Disney plush toy.
What Bonnie maketh, Disney taketh away.
I want you to meet Forky. Hi.
The company's issued a voluntary recall of Forky plush toys, modeled after Woody's new friend in the movie Toy Story 4. Disney says the googly eyes can detach and present a choking hazard to children under 3. The 11-inch dolls have posable arms and a rainbow icon on one foot. They sell for $20 at Disney stores, theme parks, and on Amazon. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Playing like a girl meant big ratings for the World Cup final. Nielsen says the final match between the U.S. and the Netherlands averaged more than 15.5 million viewers on both English and Spanish language TV. That's 22% higher than last year's men's final between France and Croatia, which had almost 11.5 million viewers. Sunday's face-off was also the most watched match this season. Pam Coulter, CBS News.
Did you know that the IRS is getting more aggressive these days? They're using private agencies to track you down and even started taking away passports. Don't wait. If you owe more than $10,000, take advantage of the Fresh Start Initiative, a program in place that can help you now. You can save thousands and possibly have your taxes forgiven. Join the thousands of taxpayers who made the call to get protection from IRS collections. Call the experts at Oxford Tax Partners now about the Fresh Start program. If you qualify, it'll stop the IRS collection agencies from coming after you. Let the IRS negotiation experts at Oxford Tax Partners get you protected once and for all. Call the hotline now at 800-575-1919. That's 800-575-1919. There's help for those of you who owe $10,000 or more, but it's important that you take action before these programs change. Call the tax experts at Oxford Tax Partners for a free consultation now at 800-575-1919. 800-575-1919. That's 800-575-1919.
Jake, where'd you get those boots?
But he's got meat between his ears.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Nation of Jake on The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
All right, welcome back to it.
Yes, have some.
It's the Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9, AM 990. We're online, KWAMTheVoice.com. You can stream the show live on YouTube. The YouTube channel is Nation of Jake. Run that all together, Nation of Jake. And subscribe. Get those notifications. Anytime I go live, you will get notified. All right, we're also on Facebook, Nation of Jake, as well as Twitter at Nation of Jake. A lot going on today. Got some sad news. Ross Perot has passed away. You remember H. Ross Perot, especially, say, if you're around my age. You know Ross Perot from the 1992 presidential election, and that was really interesting time. I mean, I was 13 years old. I turned 14 that year, and so I had kind of like a fledgling interest in politics and what was going on. You know, it was Bill Clinton, George H.W. Bush was running for re-election, and then pops in little H. Ross Perot. You know, for a long time, everybody wanted an outsider. You know, we've got an outsider now. We've got Donald Trump as president, but before that, it was Ross Perot, and he was really, I mean, he was a lot of fun. I mean, he was funny. He just had that little voice, and can I finish? Can I finish? Can I finish? And then he would buy these infomercials, like 30-minute blocks, pay millions of dollars, and show people charts and graphs about how screwed up the country is, and if they don't do something about it, we're going to be drowning in debt. And he was right about a lot of stuff. We'll talk about Ross Perot here in a little bit. There's some new polling out, you know, and it's weird because I go through a lot of different polls. You can go to Real Clear Politics, and you can just see all these different polls, all these breakdowns nationally. Who's in the lead for the 2020 Democrat nomination? Who's in the lead in Iowa? Who's in the lead in New Hampshire? Who would beat Donald Trump if the election was today? And the thing about all these polls is that they're all different. They're all different. The way they go about them are different. There's nothing uniform about it. All right, so depending on what poll you look at, especially like the approval, like the daily approval polls for Donald Trump. I mean, depending on where you go, you can see things that look very good for Donald Trump and things that look bad for Donald Trump. And you can break it down and say, okay, how does Donald Trump poll on the economy? He does great on the economy. Well, how many people are going to vote on the economy? So you can make these polls look any way you want. All right, but now I think the real polls are the internals, the ones that the candidates make decisions based on. All right, and I'm not sure how accurate those are anymore. 2016 did a lot of damage to the polling industry. You know, guys like Nate Silver at 538, they'll defend the polls till the end of time because they're pollsters. It's what they do. But when you go and ask 430 people over the phone questions that are phrased a certain way, can you really take away anything of value? But that's the thing, though. Like the polls, Rasmussen, Quinnipiac, whatever that word is, Gallup, I don't even know if they're doing polling anymore, are they? So for me, it's just like, I don't know. I mean, you have to have some sort of standard for polling. Right now we know a few things as far as the polls go. Joe Biden is still way up, despite being a lady-sniffing, plagiarizing, segregationist flip-flopper who got raked over the coals during that presidential debate. He still leads by double digits. Now, what has kind of changed is that next tier, that next group. You've got Sanders, Warren, and Harris. Sanders is just kind of sitting there. No change. He's between 13 and 15%, along with Warren and Harris, who have kind of separated themselves from that tier below, where you got Buttigieg, then Beto, and Booker. And then below that, like out of all those, it's like 7 names between Biden, Sanders, Warren, Harris, Buttigieg, Beto, and Booker. All right, so you've got like 7 names right there. And then there's another 17 candidates. Another 17. Because this Tom Steyer guy announced today, this billionaire activist, that he's going to run for president. And his main plank of his platform is impeach Donald Trump. He's running on the impeachment ticket. He would probably do better to run for Senate and try to flip a seat than he would trying to run for president, because the chances are remote that you're going to have President Tom Steyer or Steer or however you say his name. I've never heard it, just read it. So we've got 17 other candidates that are polling at 2% and change or less. The Klobuchars and the Jay Insleys and the Tom Delaney's and the Seth Moultons. One person we don't have to deal with anymore is Eric Swalwell. So the polls can say whatever you want them to say. You know, I don't know if you're one of those 17 candidates polling at 2% or less, what you're looking at thinking, oh, here's our path to the nomination at this point, even a year and a half away. I still don't see what they're looking at thinking, oh, yeah, there's still a path. Steve Bullock of Montana. Oh, yeah, I could still win over Trump voters. No, you cannot. And then you do well. If you were interested in having a Democrat president in 2020, you would drop out, because every dollar that you're accepting as a donation is a dollar that could go to a viable candidate. So they're looking at polling internally. We're looking at polling, I guess. Well, CNN has a new standard for polling. All right. CNN debuts new polling standards as 2020 race heats up. I'm just going to translate this for you. The polls are garbage. The polls are garbage. That's what CNN is saying right now. They're saying, look, the polls are garbage, so when we report on polling, we're going to do it a little differently, but we're just going to say we're upping our standards. Today, CNN is launching new standards for reporting on polling. These standards will serve to elevate research conducted by the most skilled pollsters and will make it easier for readers and viewers to understand what a poll says. The news is flooded with polls every election year. Those looking to raise their profile have discovered that frequent polling on newsworthy topics can get a lot of attention. But not all the polls deserve to be taken seriously, as polls conducted by researchers doing surveys to contribute to the public's understanding of the American people. Also, all you got to say is this. Polling has become huge business. It's become a big business. Not so much as a public interest, but a big business. So you got these polls everywhere. All right? It's getting out of hand. And that's why people just go, look, I'm not even going to participate anymore. It's just stupid. 97% chance Hillary Clinton was going to win the presidency is what the pollsters had her at the day before. The day before or the day of. 97% chance. How do you come back from that? I don't think you do. CNN will continue to hold pollsters to high standards. Our new approach opens the door for recently developed methods that did not previously meet the benchmark, provided they are being done carefully, while holding those who using long-trusted methods to a higher bar that better reflects the steps pollsters need to take to conduct accurate survey, blah, blah, blah. Getting the views of a representative group of Americans is harder than ever. Ain't that the truth? Polling has changed quite a lot and rapidly. For decades, the gold standard for polling was to survey people reached by a random sample of telephone numbers for landline phones. That's right, yeah. I mean, they've been doing this and they still do it. They call people who have landlines. Who has landlines? Businesses and old folks. Today, relying on that approach alone produces skewed results because the majority of Americans who use cell phones are ignored. But calling cell phones as well as landlines has grown more expensive and more difficult. Yeah, people don't even pick up their cell phones if they don't recognize the number. I mean, robocalls have really hurt the polling industry. I mean, how often do you get an unrecognized number from some crazy area code? Area code 602. Oh, area code. I got like 1+ numbers the other day. I'm like, I'm not answering this. Online research has become dominant for market research and is becoming more prominent in public opinion research as costs have risen for phone polling, even though there hasn't been a clear consensus about the best way to do it. Online polling, how do you know you're not getting catfished? How do you know that you are actually get a human? You got bots out there. You got robots all over the internet. How can you do online polling when they say some 60% of web traffic is robots? We do not want a robot president. I don't want President Cyborg, okay? Poll the robots. So, look, they are saying that they've got 16 questions that they're going to ask when the polls come in. Like, what do they meet the standard? And so they will not cover certain kinds of polls. All right. Polls that are conducted by campaigns or by those who have a financial or advocacy interest in the outcome, they will not cover. CNN will not cover polls that are conducted by telephone using robocalls rather than live interviewers. CNN will not cover polls that are conducted without any type of sampling where anyone who chooses to can participate. Unscientific polls. CNN will not report on polls that are conducted solely using unrepresentative sample sources or polls that are conducted without accounting for people who take surveys on their cell phones, either over the phone or by web. Polls on some topics which do not ensure that respondents of all education levels are adequately reflected will not be covered by CNN. So they are parsing these polls and because they know there's a couple of things that CNN is being very careful about. And I single out CNN because there should be high standards on what you report on. CNN, you could argue, was single-handedly responsible for Donald Trump winning the 2016 election. They gave the man, the media overall gave him like $2 billion in earned media. CNN might as well have been DonaldTrump.com for 2 years. And now they're embarrassed because they kind of took this approach. Oh, look at the freak show. Look at the sideshow. There's no way he can win. Look at these polls. Look at all these polls. These polls, they've got Hillary Clinton beating the stew out of Donald Trump. He can't be president, so let's just lean back and enjoy the freak show. In doing so, they gave Donald Trump a lot of coverage. And they got hosed on the polling. So they're being real careful. Notice, CNN is giving a town hall to anyone who wants it. Any loser candidate, Kirsten Gillibrand and Amy Klobuchar and Seth Moulton, whoever wants a town hall will get one on CNN. They do not want to favor any one candidate. They don't want to affect the outcome of the election, or they don't want to be accused of trying to affect the outcome of the election as they were in 2016. So that's kind of what's going down with the polling. We'll see if there's any market difference, because CNN is one of many sources I use every day, and I just want to see if I notice that the polling coverage is any different. I don't know if we'll notice or not, but they're just putting this disclaimer out there. It's really just a cover your butt kind of move for CNN. That said, I don't care where Beto is polling. He's not going to be president. I don't care where Booker is polling. He's not going to be president. I don't care where Seth Moulton is polling. What they have is a problem of just too many candidates in this goofy election. All right, news cruise coming up. Though, let's revisit 1992 and Ross Perot's presidential run on the day that H. Ross Perot has passed away at the age of 89. And we'll do that next right here in the Nation of Jake.
The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
Free Talk Live. They have to pass a law that all the guns that are currently there have to disappear in a puff of smoke. That's what they have to do.
Oh, wait, you mean the bad guys won't actually give up their firearms when the authorities come around to confiscate them?
It doesn't really matter that they won't give up their firearms because we're going to pass a law.
Striking.
Laws aren't a bunch of dumb crap written on paper. They actually do something.
Free Talk Live, Sunday through Friday nights on KWAM, The Voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
For expert service guaranteed, call 866-EXPERTS.
That's the number that could save you up to 30% on your energy bills. Call today and Service Experts Heating and Air Conditioning will hook you up with an AC tune-up. Right now, save $20 on an AC tune-up. Service Experts Heating and Air Conditioning, your hometown Memphis tune-up pros.
Call 866-EXPERTS.
See website for license details.
When you're planning an event and need on-time delivery, call Odell Sanders. Sanders Catering has been in business for 31 years, specializing in breakfast, lunch, dinners, corporate, and social events. When you need a caterer to work with your budget, call Odell Sanders at 901-372-2631 or visit them online at sanderscatering.com and take a look at their menu. Sanders Catering, a leader in catering services. Call today at 901-372-2631.
If you're a baby boomer here in the Mid-South area, this message is for you. We've designed a brand new radio show with you in mind. It's The Retirement Income Doctor, hosted by Dave McAdams of the McAdams Group. Each week, Dave will teach you retirement strategies that have worked year after year, decade after decade in any kind of market. That's right, the Retirement Income Doctor will teach you these strategies. So join us Saturday mornings at 10 for the Retirement Income Doctor.
Have you heard about Newsmax TV? It's America's fastest-growing cable news channel in 70 million homes. Every minute, every day. Watch Newsmax for breaking news on President Trump. Plus, get insights from Bill O'Reilly, Alan Dershowitz, Pat Buchanan, Mike Reagan, and more. You can find Newsmax TV on DirecTV, Xfinity, Dish, Optimum, Spectrum, Fios, Uverse, Suddenlink, WOW, and dozens of cable systems. So check your guide now and watch Newsmax TV. Real news for real people.
Hiring? Aren't you tired of hoping the right candidates see your job posts? It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology finds and invites qualified candidates to apply. So instead of hoping you find that needle, ZipRecruiter finds it for you, and hiring is a whole lot easier.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter now for free by going to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
All right, welcome back to it.
Yes, have some.
The Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9, AM 990, online, KWAMTheVoice.com, streaming live on YouTube. Go check out Nation of Jake on YouTube. That's Nation of Jake, one word. Subscribe and get the notifications and tell your friends about the Nation of Jake. The 2-minute show will be up sometime tonight. The podcast, shortly after the program concludes. You can subscribe to the Nation of Jake podcast on really any podcasting platform, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Spreaker, SoundCloud, you name it. Spotify, we're on Spotify as well. All right, so today I got the notification that H. Ross Perot has passed away at the age of 89. Now, Ross Perot looked 89 back in 1992. I thought that Ross Perot was way older than 89 years old. Back in 1992 was my introduction to Ross Perot. I had no idea who he was. Again, I was 13 years old. So there was this election year, and it was big. We're talking about a third-party candidate. I guess the Reform Party. He was an independent, was Ross Perot. This guy was a Texas billionaire, and he was funny, and he made a lot of sense to 13-year-old Jake. Says here, H. Ross Perot, the colorful, self-made Texas billionaire who rose from a childhood of Depression-era poverty and twice ran for president as a third-party candidate, has died. He was 89 years old, a 5-year battle with leukemia. Perot, who's 19% of the vote in 1992, stands among the best showings by an independent candidate in the past century, died early Tuesday at his home in Dallas, surrounded by his devoted family, family spokesman James Fuller said. As a boy in Texarkana, Texas, Perot delivered newspapers from the back of a pony, riding around on a pony, delivering papers. He earned his billions in a more modern way by building Electronic Data Systems Corporation, which helped other companies manage their computer networks. It says here that the most famous event in his career didn't involve sales and earnings. He once financed a private commando raid in 1979 to free 2 EDS employees who were being held in a prison in Iran. The tale was turned into a book and a movie, and I'm sure that it was embellished a little bit. I'm sure there's some hyperbole. I have no doubt that he sent a commando team to go spring his employees, but I think when they got there, they had to abort the plan because it was too dangerous, and that Iran got together with the State Department and organized a release for a lot of different prisoners, including the 2 employees. That said, that's how the story's told, is that Ross Perot's a man of action, and he decided to go spring his employees from Iran by hiring a crack team of commandos like the A-Team. Now, how awesome is that? I think the most famous event in his career for me has to be 1992 election. He had George H.W. Bush, the incumbent, and for whatever reason, people were just kind of tired of him. And there was a little bit of a recession. The Gulf War had just kind of wrapped up over there. And then you had Bill Clinton, this young, cool guy from Arkansas who was good with the ladies and he played saxophone on the Arsenio Hall show. But then enter Ross Perot, who was this businessman and kind of had this voice where he talked kind of like this. And he'd say, "Hey, can I finish? Can I finish? Now, you guys have to know that you don't know anything about business. You just don't know. It's common sense. Kind of the common sense candidate." And he made sense to me, even at a very young age, a lot of what he had to say. One of the most famous lines from Ross Perot was that sucking sound, that giant sucking sound, talking about NAFTA. And I say there was a guy at a debate, a town hall style debate, asking Ross Perot about how he's going to ensure that American jobs stay right here. And we can listen to Ross Perot's answer.
That's right at the top of my agenda. We've shipped millions of jobs overseas, and we have a strange situation because we have a process in Washington where after you've served for a while, you cash in, become a foreign lobbyist, make $30,000 a month, then take a leave, work on presidential campaigns, make sure you got good contacts, and then go back out. Now, if you just want to get down to brass tacks, first thing you ought to do is get all these folks who've got these one-way trade agreements that we've negotiated over the years and say, "Fellas, we'll take the same deal we gave you." And they'll gridlock right at that point because, for example, we've got international competitors who simply could not unload their cars off the ships if they had to comply. You see, if it was a two-way street, just couldn't do it. We have got to stop sending jobs overseas. To those of you in the audience who are business people, pretty simple. If you're paying $12, $13, $14 an hour for factory workers, and you can move your factory south of the border, pay $1 an hour for labor, hire a young 25, that's assuming you've been in business for a long time, you've got a mature workforce. Pay $1 an hour for your labor, have no health care, that's the most expensive single element making a car, have no environmental controls, no pollution controls, and no retirement, and you don't care about anything but making money, there will be a giant sucking sound going south. So if
the giant sucking sound going south, I mean, he kind of sounds a little bit like Donald Trump, the protectionist kind of deal, the fair trade deals, kind of taking a crap on NAFTA right there in that particular instance, but without all the baggage that Donald Trump has. This is a guy who was the Texas billionaire. He had the swagger. He would buy up like 30-minute blocks, and he would show you with graphs. He'd say, this is where we're going wrong here. You see, what's going to happen is that 10, 15 years from now, you're really going to see it because wages are going to rise in Mexico up to $6 an hour, and then they're going to fall here, and you'll see it level off. But in the meantime, it's going to be bad. And then, of course, you had Dana Carvey, which was so brilliant. Dana Carvey would do both George H.W. Bush and Ross Perot during a cold open on SNL, and they would somehow pull it off to where you're watching the same actor. You're watching Dana Carvey do both the parts of Perot and Bush, and man, Dana Carvey was so good at that stuff back then. He was at the top of his game. So, Ross Perot will forever be that guy to me, but listen, he's done a lot more than that. Reading about Ross Perot on this, the day the news comes out that he has passed away is pretty interesting. Perot first became known to Americans outside the business circles by claiming that the U.S. government left behind hundreds of American soldiers who were missing or imprisoned at the end of the Vietnam War. Perot fanned the issue at home and discussed it privately with Vietnamese officials in the 1980s, angering the Reagan administration, which was formally negotiating with Vietnam's government. So Ross Perot was kind of a drain the swamp guy before Donald Trump, way before. He was kind of the progenitor of this Mr. Smith goes to Washington kind of deal. His 19% in 1992, that made a lot of people mad. I was watching a documentary on Roger Stone on Netflix. It's called Get Me Roger Stone. Roger Stone, of course, has been associated with Nixon. He has a Nixon tattoo. And then he's also all the way up through Trump and a lot of different Republican administrations in between. Ross Perot triggered Roger Stone to the point where Roger Stone made sure that didn't happen again. All right. Ross Perot took 19% of the vote. And because he was conservative and that common sense candidate, you can deduce that he siphoned votes from George H.W. Bush. And so when Roger Stone saw this happen, he was like, we cannot have this happen again. And so he got Donald Trump to torpedo Patrick Buchanan in 1996 so that there wouldn't be a third-party challenge that would siphon votes off Republicans. So it was a big deal for 19% as an independent. All right, so I look fondly not just back on those days. I love the 90s and I love that time. But Ross Perot was like a true maverick. This guy was you couldn't buy Ross Perot. Ross Perot didn't need your money. He didn't like the idea of guys going to Washington and then working for an administration and then becoming lobbyists. And he didn't like the corruption. And it was odd because he was actually getting a lot of good momentum over the summer before the 1992 election. And then all of a sudden, he drops out of the race claiming that campaign operatives from his opponents were going to infiltrate his daughter's wedding. And everybody was like, what? Wait, what? No, listen, they're sending helicopters to my daughter's wedding, and I can't have that happen at my daughter's wedding, so I'm dropping out of the race. And then he got back in the race like in October, like a month out. And it was like, dude, that's not going to work. So it kind of fell apart from there. He tried it again in 1996, trying to kind of capture the magic. Too bad he missed his window. I would love to see some sort of alternate history done on what a Ross Perot presidency would have looked like. And I think it would look a lot like what Donald Trump is doing, minus all the tweeting, obviously, and all the offensive stuff, and just the general, gross kind of stuff that Donald Trump says and does. I don't think that you would have any kind of controversy over porn stars with an H. Ross Perot. I think that he was a good dude. And the other thing is this. I guess time does something funny to you. Because when I was 13 years old, watching Ross Perot run for president, if you told me the man was 89 years old, I would have believed you. He was 62 at the time. He looks way older than that. Looking back, in my brain, I'm like, no, Ross Perot had to have been 70, 75 years old 27 years ago. Well, he wasn't. He was 62. He was younger than my dad is today, and I don't even view my dad as an old man. My dad's 68. Hell, Earl's 68.
I'm the old man.
You're the old man, right? So I don't even view you guys as old as, it's all perspective. I mean, I was 13. You had silver hair and you're an old guy talking on like this. Can I finish? Can I finish? Can I finish? I just remember that guy as being such a character, and it's fun to kind of look back and then also kind of say, hey, I wonder if Ross Perot had actually stayed in the race and won, what politics would look like today. Because then, hey, 27 years after the Mr. Smith Goes to Washington story, the billionaire CEO running the country, it'd be fun to explore. Maybe we'll do that one day. I don't know, when I have the time. All right, coming up, we've got a lot of local and national headlines to get to in a leisurely fashion on the old news cruise. We'll do it next, right here in the Nation of Jake.
The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
CBS News Update. President Trump is defending Labor Secretary Alex Acosta, who helped arrange what many consider to be a sweetheart plea deal for Jeffrey Epstein in a sex crimes case a decade ago.
I do hear that there were a lot of people involved in that decision, not just him. I can only say this from what I know, and what I do know is that he's been a really great Secretary of Labor.
Connecticut Senator Richard Blumenthal is among the Democrats who say it's time for Acosta to go.
Acosta should resign, and there should be hearings in the United States Senate involving the Epstein-Acosta-Trump connection.
South Carolina Republican Senator Lindsey Graham.
I'd like to know the basis of the plea deal, why it was set aside. I'd like to know more. This thing was fairly vetted. He just didn't do it by himself.
CBS News Update, I'm Pam Coulter.
The Mary Beth Conley Show, weekdays at 12 noon.
You can find the headlines and noisy debate anywhere, but if you want a true discussion, if you want an exploration of someone's life story, if you want inspiration out of an ordinary person's experiences, that's why you should come to the Mary Beth Conley Show at noon on KWAM The Voice, now on FM 107.9 and AM 990. We'll help you live life a little bit larger through the lives of other people. I hope you join us. I promise it'll brighten your day.
The special event florist for the Mid-South is Lynn Doyle Flowers. They are famous for creating incredible floral arrangements and are available to fill even your last-minute needs. From the simple to the magnificent, their staff can create unique arrangements for your special occasion. Flowers always bring a smile, make someone's day, and for fast, convenient delivery, call Lynn Doyle Flowers today at 901-323-4521 or visit their beautiful new location at 6225 Old Poplar Pike.
Do you like fine cigars? Then visit Crossroads Cigar Emporium, located at 1403 West Goodman Road in Horn Lake, Mississippi. They carry all of your favorite brands, like El Artista, Cohiba, Padron, Upsetter, Tatiana, Arturo Fuente, Monte Cristo, and more. Crossroads also carries more than 30 brands of pipe tobacco, plus premium handmade pipes. Come smoke with us at Crossroads Cigar Emporium, open Monday through Thursday and Saturdays from 10 to 7, Fridays 10 to 8, and Sundays 11 to 6. Happy Pasita!
This is Clark Howard. It's summertime, and it's the likeliest time that you may travel away from the United States. So I got a couple of questions for you. Not just about, will you send me a picture of where you are smiling, but how are you protected when you're overseas? Do you know a lot of times your health insurance doesn't cover you once you leave the United States? The time to find that out actually is before you go. Check with your own health insurer and see if you are covered outside the United States. If you're going to do something like rent a car, you need to know from your own automobile insurer if you're covered outside the United States in a rental car. And you know what else? If you're going third world, going to a more obscure place, you may want to consider some kind of policy that will cover evacuating if somebody got hurt or sick and you needed a flight out.
The backyard's looking great, Rob. Thanks, man. I was planning on adding a deck, too. Know any good contractors? Why don't you just ask Home Advisor? Home what? HomeAdvisor.com. You just tell them about your project and they match you with local pros that can do the job.
Nice. Now, how much does it cost?
Oh, HomeAdvisor's totally free to use. Plus, you can read customer reviews, check pricing, and book appointments for free.
What's the website again?
HomeAdvisor.com. Or just download the free HomeAdvisor app.
Have you heard what President Trump said recently?
Newsmax, you like Newsmax. I like it too.
Now you can watch Newsmax TV and get the truth about Trump from Bill O'Reilly, Mike Reagan, Alan Dershowitz, Pat Buchanan, and more. Newsmax TV is America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in 70 million homes. Find Newsmax on DirecTV, Dish, Xfinity, Spectrum, Optimum, Fios, Uverse, and more systems. See Newsmax TV today. It's real news for real people.
All right, welcome back to it.
Yes, have some.
The Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9, AM 990, online, KWAMTheVoice.com. Streaming live on YouTube, the YouTube channel, Nation of Jake. Go subscribe to that. Also, follow along on Facebook, Nation of Jake there, and at Nation of Jake on Twitter. You sensing a theme? Nation of Jake is where you can find me wherever you go. I got plenty of headlines to get to. We like to do this on the news cruise. We hop on this vessel. We breathe the ocean air, but watch out for the blue-green algae. It'll make you sick.
News. Exciting and new. Come aboard. We're expecting you. The news cruise, full of exciting news. The news cruise, so relax and kick off your shoes.
All right, welcome aboard the news cruise, brought to you by Just Windows Home Services, 751-3934. They can clean your windows, but not just your windows. Windows is what they do best. This time of year, pressure washing is big. Also, cleaning out your gutters, keeping them free of debris where all those mosquitoes and ants like to burrow and breed. So keep it clean over there. If there's anything, high up, like a light bulb you need changed, the guys at Just Windows Home Services can help you out. All you got to do is give them a call, 751-3934. That's 751-3934. You tell them the Nation of Jake sent you, and you can get 20% off that free estimate. 751-3934 or online at justwindowsmemphis.com. All right, first up on the news cruise, be advised it's hot. Heat advisory in effect across the Mid-South. Heat index values will climb to between 105 and 109 degrees. This advisory will last until 8 p.m. So, you got to look for ways to beat the heat. What's the old temperature as of now at the KWAM East Memphis studio? It looks like it's 93 and partly cloudy, but it feels like 105 out there. So again, ways to beat the heat, there are many. Staying inside, drinking water, go get a snow cone. Or you can do what I said, is run butt naked through the beer cave at the Circle K. And that will cool you right off. But be warned, you won't be asked back. But you were advised it's hot in the Mid-South. They're probably going to have a heat advisory tomorrow too. We've got Hamilton has kicked off the 3-week run at the Orpheum. Begins tonight in downtown Memphis. It's July 9th through the 28th. Now, Hamilton is this musical about the life of Alexander Hamilton. It's based on a biography written by a guy named Ron Chernow. But it's all hip-hop. It's all rap. And I can't imagine that this is not overhyped. Because the hype has been so great, there's no way this is going to live up to expectations. And I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying that I'm not going to enjoy it. But we talk about expectations a lot in the Nation of Jake because I think that's the basis for everything you experience is what you're expecting versus what you get. And there's no way that you're going to convince me that Hamilton is as good as advertised. I've heard the soundtrack. My wife, from time to time, will play it in the car. She's listened to it over and over. She knows all the lyrics to all the songs. She knows the story. But here's the thing. As a student of political science, I know the story of Alexander Hamilton. In fact, my wife was showing it to me going, oh, check out this song. I'm like, yeah, I know all this stuff. But they're rapping about it. Aaron Burr, sir? Aaron Burr, sir? Alexander Hamilton, Lafayette. Yeah, I know all the songs. But with that said, I've got the Federalist Papers on my desk in my office. They don't leave. They're always there. That said, it's going to be at the Orpheum. I'm going, I guess, the second to last night. You're going tonight? Hold on, Earl. You're going to see Hamilton?
Yeah.
Are you excited?
Night. Oh, very much.
You going to get all dressed up in a tux?
I got my hip hop shoes on.
No. What you need to do is you need to dress up of the period. You need to dress up like a revolutionary patriot.
Wear a wig.
White powdered wig. Some of those knickers.
I got no knickers.
Come on, yeah, you do. Come on, you got
knickers?
No, back when you were in the Revolutionary War. You still got your garb.
Even then, I wore long pants.
Oh, did you? I wore long pants in the war, son. Here we go. We got MLGW. People are asking questions as to why MLGW is destroying newly paved roads and why the city is asking them to. You would think that any work being done on the roads would be done before the city comes in and repaves them. But this happens all the time. Residents in Cooper Young are scratching their heads over newly paved city streets that was almost immediately torn up by Memphis Light, Gas, and Water. Work that's being done in Philadelphia Street. Since May 31st, it's been a construction zone. It was all part of work being done for a federally mandated maintenance project of the city's more than 100-year-old sewer system. So basically, you've got work being done, left hand's not talking to the right hand. Mayor Strickland.
Mr. Strickland!
He likes to tout how much paving they're doing, but they're just going out there and just paving roads everywhere. And it's like, hey, man, you're paving right over where we're doing work. We have to rip up this new paved road. It's really just an illustration of how inefficient government can be, isn't it? But it happens all the time. Every time. Whether they're in Germantown, whether you're in Memphis, whenever they do new paving, within 2 days, MLGW is out to do something to that pavement, to that new road. Either cutting down, getting to a water main, doing something. Anything that you do, just do it beforehand. Why? Why would you do that? Inefficient. Costs money. We got 2 new restaurants coming to Shelby Farms. They had that kitchen at Shelby Farms, and that place was awful. The food wasn't terrible. But, man, I went there one night. I waited a solid hour and 20 minutes for my meal. And I don't like waiting around an hour. I'm not going to a restaurant saying I'm going to be hungry an hour and 20 minutes from now. That's not what you do. You want to eat with some relative immediacy. I want to say 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Former restaurateur Earl Farrell, what is the wait time? What is an accepted standard plate time?
In Memphis?
No, just industry standard. I mean, what's the goal? You want to get somebody orders a meal, how long do you have to get it to them? What's an appropriate amount?
20 minutes.
20 minutes?
That's what.
Depending, I guess, on the type of place.
But you have to consider if you're having appetizers or salad.
Sure.
They're going to serve that first, and so that's going to back up when they're going to throw your steak on or start cooking your fish. So from the time you start eating your salad or have an appetizer, then eat your salad, then within 15 minutes of eating your salad, you should have your entrees. That would be...
Okay, hour and 20 minutes is too long in any case.
Yes.
That's what it was at the kitchen
at
Shelby Farms. No, this is like recently. And then we've got these two new restaurants. Coastal Fish Company. They'll serve dinner daily as well as brunch and lunch on Saturdays and Sundays. Is that the one that's run by the guys who do Flight and Southern Social? I believe so.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Then that's they've established some pretty
Two of
good
the best restaurants in Memphis.
I've never been to Flight, but Southern Social is out by my house, and I've been there, and it is fantastic. So I'm looking forward to that. And then the other one is called Sheffy's Cafe, and they're going to have a more casual kind of vibe there. So a couple more options at Shelby Farms as far as dining goes. It's funny because never before would you have associated Shelby Farms is a place you would go to eat, which I think is cool what they've done over there. I mean, the whole park is fantastic. And we'll leave you with this one. Now, this is something that is a national story that has come down, but there are some local implications. A federal court has ruled that President Trump cannot block critics on Twitter. The Second U.S. Court of Appeals in Manhattan ruled that President Donald Trump is not allowed to block people who criticize him on the old Twitter machine. A 3-judge panel upheld a decision by a lower court which found that the president violates the First Amendment when he blocks his critics on Twitter.
I block mine.
You can block yours, but you are not a public official.
I'm a public figure.
It says here, you're a public figure, but you are not a public official.
Well, I got you.
The court found that public officials who use social media for all manner of official purposes are not allowed to block people because it would prevent them from engaging in an open dialogue with those officials. Okay. Is Steve Cohen representative of Tennessee's 9th District?
Yes.
Is he required to unblock me from Twitter?
If you're saying to me that the president can't do it, then Steve Cohen can't do it.
All right, then I will expect by close of business today, 5 p.m. Central Time, that I be unblocked from Steve Cohen, Representative Steve Cohen's Twitter account. I don't think if Donald Trump, as a public official, cannot block his critics on Twitter, then Chicken Man Steve Cohen, he can't do it either. I want to be unblocked. I really don't have much interest in what he has to say, but if he's violating the law by blocking me, I want him to be held to account, because this type of aggression or passive aggression will not stand, Steve Cohen. Unblock me by 5 p.m. or I'm going to get, what was this, the 2nd District Court of Appeals? I'm going to get the 3rd District Court of Appeals to go and unblock me themselves. I want them with battering rams knocking down your office doors saying, unblock the Nation of Jake now by court order or you will be in contempt. And he'll say something like, I hold myself in contempt. Steve Cohen, get out of my face. No, get in my face. Unblock me. Let's go. It's the law. We want to keep it legal, as we will. All right, we're going to wrap things up. Earl Farrell is coming by to restore order, and we'll do it all next right here in the Nation of Jake.
The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Dan Groban and Phil Menard at Servant Advisors Group call this mailbox money. It's the monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They want to help remove stress from your retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Servant Advisors Group at 855-260-1000 for a complimentary retirement analysis with strategies that could help your nest egg provide you monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call right now, 855-260-1000. Servant Wealth Management is a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Servant Advisors Group, LLC. Insurance licensed in Tennessee, Mississippi, and in Arkansas.
If you're thinking about buying or selling a home, stop. Don't do anything until you talk to my man, James Underwood. James Underwood has been helping people like you navigate the Mid-South real estate market for more than a decade. So whether you're looking to buy your first home or you want to upgrade to your forever home, James Underwood can help make it happen. No gimmicks, no guarantees, just a rock-solid guy that I've known for 25 years. So now, if you're looking to buy or sell a home, hit up James Underwood with CryLike. JamesUnderwood.crylike.com. That's JamesUnderwood.crylike.com.
Tune in every Saturday from 3:05 to 5 o'clock to listen to the IBEW Labor Agenda radio show. I'm Rick Thompson.
And I'm Pat Epps.
I'm Bill Hawkins. A program where issues affecting all working men and women are discussed.
Issues including MLGW, the city of Memphis, Shelby County, and state and federal governments, and smart meters that can't and won't work.
Issues surrounding how the fat cats keep all of us divided by race and class in order to continue their agenda of dividing and conquering while working men and women struggle on a daily basis.
Tune in every Saturday and listen to the IBEW Labor Agenda radio program. program.
When's the last time you looked at the windows in your house? Not through the windows, but at the windows. Really looked at them. There's dirt, streaks, buildup, smudges, fingerprints, paw prints, spider webs, dead bugs. There's little white speckles. I have no idea what they are, and who knows what else. Now, cleaning all the windows in your house makes a big difference, but it's also a big job. That's why you need Just Windows Home Services. Just Windows has been taking the pain out of window cleaning since 1992. Just Windows cleans all types of windows, storm windows, screens, skylights, interior, exterior, upstairs and down. Now, I know I told you the company is called Just Windows Home Services, but they do a lot more. Roof and gutter cleaning, pressure washing, mirrors, blinds, ceiling fans, light fixtures, chandeliers. Look, if you've got hard to reach areas of the house, then you need Just Windows Home Services. Call for a free estimate, 751-3934. That's 751-3934, or get them online at justwindowsmemphis.com. That's justwindowsmemphis.com.
Brown Properties. They specialize in commercial and industrial real estate in all of North Mississippi.
He helped me locate a space and helped me get in so easily. The most professional, most accommodating person that I have ever worked with in my professional career.
I would absolutely recommend Jim Brown very highly. As a matter of fact, he'll be my real estate agent from now into the future for sure.
Hi, I'm Jim Brown with Brown Properties, commercial industrial real estate located in South Haven, Mississippi. Call me at 662-393-2255.
I'm Ed Parami, the owner of JanPro, the franchise that helps you be your own boss. JanPro is now the fastest growing franchise in the entire world for the second year in a row by Entrepreneur Magazine. We are growing so fast we need new business owners right here in Memphis right now. So if you want to be your own boss and open your own business, call JanPro at 901-683-4900 to see just how easy it is to be your own boss. For as little as $950 down, you can be a part of JanPro. Don't waste another minute. Call 901-683-4900.
All right, welcome back to it.
Yes, have some.
The Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9 AM 990, online, KWAMthevoice.com. Still streaming live on YouTube for a few minutes more. Earl Farrell will be up in about 10 minutes or so right after the CBS News. It's Tuesday, which means it's Taco Tuesday. If you're interested in tacos, meet me over at the Burger King. Makes no sense, right? Why would you go to Burger King for a taco? Well, you can get tacos at Burger King now. They started selling tacos today. Most places cost you $1. So Burger King and the Burger Kingdom having a bit of an identity crisis selling tacos. Now, I know that Burger King does a lot of these goofy promotions. It's kind of their thing. They don't have the sad meals. They did the non-happy meals. Angry meals, sad meals. They're just all over the place with their promotions to the point where I'm not sure if it's working or not. I mean, I guess maybe it's kind of working because I would never go to Burger King, ever. And I still won't. But people are talking about Burger King. So I guess at least that's something. Marketing is odd. Billions of dollars are poured into research about promotions and stunts like this, and somebody somewhere got paid a bunch of money to sit in a boardroom with the Burger King executives and say, hey, Burger King, I've got a great idea. You ready for this? Sure. Tacos. Tacos. The same guy is going to go over to Yum Brands, who owns Taco Bell, and say, hey, Taco Bell guys, I got a great idea for you. What is it? Sketty. Go eat spaghetti at Taco Bell, get your tacos from Burger King. But honestly, you know who doesn't do stuff like this? Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A does nothing like this. Outside of dress up like a cow, come get a free chicken sandwich, they don't do a lot of goofy promotions. You know, if you'll notice, they don't have to, because when you go to a Chick-fil-A, it's always pretty clean, and everybody's pretty nice, is pretty consistent, and there might be something to that whole Protestant work ethic. There might be something to their whole philosophy as a company, rather than, hey, let's do goofy promotions like sell tacos at a burger place. That said, Burger King kind of has their own way. In fact, some of the analysts are saying there's a possible downside to all these attention-grabbing stunts by Burger King. They say that Burger King can be very haphazard with its menu, and that can be a good thing because customers like to try new things, but sometimes you get the impression that Burger King chases after the shiny objects rather than just focusing on the core business, and that is burgers. You know there's a problem at your burger joint when they're coming to you from tacos and they're not buying your burgers. You're not going to be long for the old market. All right, Earl's up next. I'll be back tomorrow at 1. So long, and thanks for all the
Serving
fish.
Tennessee, Mississippi, and Arkansas. The latest news stories are